Welcome to the home of WWE news, rumors, and gossip in real time. Click the bell, subscribe, and turn on all notifications today. Don't forget to become a channel member and send a super thanks donation below. And now, your host. He is the most consistent and dedicated in YouTube history, Seanzviewent.
Viewers, fans, and subscribers, we have a lot on the deck. We have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to bring up, and we don't have a whole lot of time to do it. So let's get into the crucial details, the elements, the developments. Remember that it's so crucial to become a channel member today to help save and secure my future, because I can't do this by myself. I need the help, the support. I need the reach of each and every one of you, because this is what I do. And remember, if you want to join the bright lights of the LED board, if you want to beat Jerry, if you want your name added to the LED board, and this thing will be bright, it will be lighted up, it will be as bright as it can get, because that's what you can expect here on Seanzviewent. All you got to do is donate to the Super Chat, Super Sticker, donate below, or become a channel member today. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the flow of the show. Sol Ruca retaining the WWE Speed title at No Mercy. Now, we did have No Mercy last night. I just wish that No Mercy was on the main roster like it used to be during the Attitude Era, during the Ruthless Aggression Era. No Mercy was a big part of the pay-per-view calendar, but no longer. It's now a part of NXT, and I don't know why NXT gets to get Halloween Havoc, you know, the Great American Bash. That used to be all WWE main roster exclusives, but again, no longer, and that is sad, and that is unfortunate, but at least we still get it in some way, shape, or form. It just, in my opinion, should be on the main roster of WWE. Speaking about WWE No Mercy, for those of you that witnessed it, for those of you that saw it, for those of you that got it, what did you think about WWE No Mercy presented by NXT last night? What to you was the match of the night? What to you was the moment of the night? What was the segment of the night? Who was the superstar of the night last night at WWE No Mercy? And do you feel that this No Mercy was one of the better ones? Also, a WWE star was injured at TNA tapings in Edmonton, Alberta, and it has been announced, it has been signed, it will go down. WWE versus TNA Invasion event announced. Yes, NXT and TNA Invasion event announced. It should be stellar. And what do you think about it finally happening, it finally transpiring? Ladies and gentlemen, Ricky Saints wins the NXT title at No Mercy. Did you expect that? Did you anticipate that? Did you think things were going to go that way? Your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions. Also, WWE, AEW. This is the only two companies that have yet to come together and secure a deal, a handshake. We've had WWE and TNA. We've had AEW and NJPW, ROH. We've had just about every wrestling organization come together and throw in the mix. But it has not yet to be WWE and AEW. Well, is the time finally happening? Was the time finally happening? Is it going down? Despite earlier claims that AEW and WWE wouldn't go head-to-head again this year, that's officially out of the window. Ringside News can confirm that AEW Dynamite Title Tuesday, set for October the 7th, 2025, airing live from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, the exact same night as WWE's Invasion Special on the CW network. This files directly, and this flies directly in the face of a report from Joey Votes of WrestleVotes Radio, where he stated, according to a source with the direct knowledge of WWE's remaining 2025 schedule, there doesn't appear to be any more counter-programming against AEW pay-per-views for the rest of the year. It may have seemed like an honest claim, right? But no, if you did your homework. AEW's Title Tuesday isn't just a throwaway episode either. It's branded as a homecoming special, which means Tony Khan is bringing the fire back to his home base in Jacksonville with big matches and marquee names. Meanwhile, WWE NXT Invasion will feature two Survivor Series style matches, a title-for-title team between the Hardy Boys and the Dark State, in a no-interference rematch between Trick Williams and Oba Femi. It is now crystal clear the war between WWE and AEW is still alive and kicking, and both sides are putting premium content on the same night. While October the 7th may not be a traditional pay-per-view weekend, fans will still be forced to choose. or bounce between both, because this is the real Tuesday night war to settle the damn score. Your thoughts, your comments, and your emotions. AEW obviously is loading up with their homecoming special, while WWE brings cross-promotional chaos with Invasion. One thing's for sure, October the 7th isn't just another Tuesday. Your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions. The site didn't do their homework. AEW moved the show to Tuesday, not the other way around. Also, viewers, fans, and subscribers, at this time and at this hour, we are receiving word that Eric Bischoff downplays Vince McMahon's creative genius label. Do you feel that Vince McMahon was a creative genius? Also, WWE NXT wins big at the NPC IFBB Daytona Pro bodybuilding competition. The Velveteen Dream addresses joining a major wrestling company after his exit from the WWE. Would you ever want to see or interested, or would you be invested in seeing the Velveteen Dream back in a wrestling promotion? And what promotion should it be? Dirty Dominic Mysterio's next challenger for the AAA Mega Championship has been confirmed. According to those in the know, Dominic Mysterio, as we all know, is also the reigning defending WWE Intercontinental Champion. But for just how much longer will he reign as the Intercontinental Champion? Your thoughts, your comments, your opinions, and your emotions on all of that. Velveteen Dream blasts AEW for inefficient booking and lack of structure. Sister Kelly calls out fans for stealing her merch at an Arizona meet and greet. Also, TNA title match has absolutely been revealed for Bound for Glory in what is a spoiler. The Inspiration aren't just back, they're already heading into a championship match at TNA Bound for Glory. And we learned this at the September 27th, 2025 tapings. Hologram likely out for the rest of 2025. A title change hands at TNA Impact tapings in Edmonton. What did you think about Ricky Saints breaking silence after his NXT title win at WWE No Mercy? Jasmine Nick says she'd return to WWE if offered a better deal. Ace Austin returns to AEW Collision and joins stable after TV absence. Broadcast changes revealed for next week's AEW Dynamite and Collision. Major Invasion angle booked for the 9:30 WWE NXT. Kenny Omega's in-ring return has been set for the upcoming AEW Dynamite. Masked Attacker helps JC Jane retain the NXT Women's title at No Mercy 2025. Also, WWE broadcast, a huge slip, a huge botch, a huge mistake. WWE broadcast slip at NXT No Mercy shows Samantha Irvin instead of Kelly Kinnaid at WWE's event last night. Your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions. Also, viewers, fans, and subscribers, at this hour and at this time, we are bringing you the most realistic. Over the weekend, a very tragic event took place, and it shook North Carolina. We all know about North Carolina and the WWE. Not only WWE events there, but wrestlers, superstars hailing from North Carolina. Kind of like Jeff and Matt, the Hardy Boys. Cameron, North Carolina. Does that ring a bell? A waterfront brawl became the scene of a chaos when shots were fired from a passing boat. 3 people were killed, 8 were injured, and for the families left behind, this wasn't a storyline. It was life, it was death, and it was permanent. But wrestling fans hear about bars, alcohol, and violence, and we can't help but be reminded of how wrestling and its long history of tying entertainment to real-world demons like drinking, drugs, and death. This isn't the first time that the bar has been a symbol of destruction. For Southport, it was tragedy. For WWE, the bar, which involves drinking, has been part of its culture for decades. Sometimes as entertainment, sometimes as the site of a wrestler's worst mistakes. Does anybody remember the APA, the Acolytes, right? Bradshaw, Farouk, bar fights, Stone Cold Steve Austin's beer celebrations, the ECW's Sandman entering through the crowd drinking beer, Ric Flair's decade-long association with alcohol. In the Attitude Era, the APA made the bar their office. Stone Cold Steve Austin turned beer into a catchphrase. The Sandman built his entire character on walking through a crowd with a cigarette in one hand and a beer in the other. Ric Flair lived the jet-flying, limousine-riding, champagne lifestyle on camera and by his own admission, off camera too, but for every cheer, there's a dark side. Jeff Hardy's career highs, his repeated arrests for DUIs and drug issues, the times WWE and AEW had to suspend him, how fans begged for his recovery. Jeff Hardy is one of the most beloved wrestlers of all time, but his story is also one of near tragedy time and time again. Arrests, DUI, drug possession, every time he climbed the ladder, fans worried that it might be his last. His story is a reminder that alcohol and drugs don't just destroy careers, they can destroy lives. Southport's tragedy was a gun. Jeff Hardy's was the bottle. Both leave scars. Also, Jimmy Uso's multiple DUI arrests, the embarrassment for WWE and how it bled into storylines, how his tag team greatness was almost overshadowed by real-life choices. The Usos have been part of one of the greatest storylines in wrestling history with the Bloodline. But outside the ring, the headlines were different. Jimmy Uso's DUIs nearly derailed everything, and once again, alcohol was the villain. We all remember WWE was always flirted with death in storylines. The Undertaker carried urns, caskets, and buried opponents alive. But in 1999, at Over the Edge, Owen Hart fell to his death in front of thousands of fans. Eddie Guerrero died at just 38 years old after years of fighting his demons. Umaga, Hook, Kurt Hennig, the list goes on and on. It's one thing to write about death. It's another when the bell tolls for real. There are parallels between WWE and this major story that I just talked about. Bars as stages of chaos in wrestling versus real-world bars stages of tragedy. Stress and the differences between storyline and reality. In WWE, a bar fight ends with a referee breaking it up. In Southport, Carolina, it ended lives forever. The connection isn't about blame, it's about reflection. Wrestling has glamorized drinking, barroom brawls, and violence, but Southport is the reminder. Outside the scripted world, these demons are fatal. Now, I remind my audiences of the rumors, the gossip, and the speculation that we talked about, but I also end this with the condolences. To the families in Southport, this is not a storyline, it is heartbreak. For wrestling fans, this is another echo of what happens when alcohol, drugs, and violence spill from the scripted world into reality. Jeff Hardy, the Usos, Eddie, Owen, we've seen too many stories end in tragedy. Maybe the lesson is simple. In wrestling, everything can be rewritten. In life, we only get one chance, one opportunity. Rest in peace to those that we lost in Southport. And may wrestling one day learn from the tragedies we have lived through. Your thoughts, your comments, your opinions, and your emotions on all of that. This is where it gets really, really chaotic, guys. This is where we break it all down. This is the SmackDown. This is the lowdown, viewers. Make no mistake about that. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining me because we've got a lot more to talk about. We have a lot more to get into. Remember, become a channel member. Donate below with a super thanks donation. If you want to make your name known to the board, donate below to a super chat or a super sticker or a super thanks donation. Also, the AEW Collision Results first ever women's blood and guts match has been set. History will be made in AEW. A first ever women's blood and guts match will be set. It will go down. It will transpire. Also, big return announced for AEW Dynamite's 6-year anniversary. Your thoughts, your comments, your opinions, and your emotions on all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in to another installment of the Brash and the Brazen. And remember, guys, as I say all the time, as I say multiple times a day, if it weren't for you being true to Seanzviewent, there would be no Seanzviewent. And that is the bottom line at the end of the day. And that's the damnedest bottom line I have ever bottom line. Stay tuned. Stay often. Because this is gonna get legit. And as you know, the fix is in. Later.